Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome to another Zendikar Rising Best of 3 traditional draft with Travis Semulin Sours. You may see some numbers above my head. We're doing a little bit of a subscriber drive with some big rewards ranging from extra stream time to a 24-hour stream to perhaps even a buzz cut, which would be significant. I haven't cut my hair in 3 years. It was 2017. If you'd like to catch that action and get involved in the fun, in real time, you can hop over to the Twitch stream at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. We are still on Golgari Theory. We've been pretty happy with Golgari Theory, and I'm thinking about Soul Shatter versus Recovery. And I think I'd rather have the Soul Shatter to start, but I'd like a Recovery too. You got to be careful about removal and make sure you have enough. You know, there was a while where I'd have taken the Celebrant. But I think even if you were going to try to do clerics, you'd take the Soul Shatter here. But again, for the YouTube people, we've been doing basically green black all day. The one time I tried not to, we got a 1-2. So go figure. Here's as much of an excuse as I need to get in with the Horn Beetle and trying to wheel the Constrictor. Binding's not anywhere close to it there, Pat. Not anywhere close to it, sadly. Pacifism's not as good in this set, as they say. But pacifism goes in white decks. I don't want to play with white decks. I want to play black-green decks. And build around a Horn Beetle, and I can do that now because I have one. It hits Planeswalkers too, which is, I mean, pseudo-relevant. I have already pacified Planeswalkers. So having already gotten the Beetle, I feel pretty confident going in on black-green here with the Scythe Cat. I also don't like Valakut Exploration that much. Like, I've seen a lot of people play this against me, and I just haven't been scared of it. It may be that the black-green deck just isn't particularly weak to it, because it doesn't seem bad on its surface. Like, you play a land, you draw a card. If it's another land, it pings your opponent. If it's not, you can play it. Like, it's okay. But I'd rather just have a Scythe Cat and get our counter shenanigans going. The first Blood Beckoning is somewhat crucial to this deck. So is the first Vanquish the Wake. I think I want the first Vanquish, but next time we're offered this, I have to take the Beckoning. I mean, it still kills things you need to be killed. I'm teasing when I say pacifism isn't good in this set. Pacifism's always, every set that there's been a pacifism effect in, it's been pretty good. However, I don't want to play white. I don't want to play red. I don't want to play blue. So we don't really even see those cards unless they're splashable. And I have splashed to pass the Nahiri's Binding before and not even been that unhappy about it. But these decks are kind of just drafting themselves now. Like a Gnarl Rid Colony is pretty good. So far, all of our creatures have counter synergies, which is great. You can pacify one of the Jaces and just let them accrue value from the other. But Golgari Theory has not let me down so far. I think there have been a couple times we've gotten off of it. One when blue was just too open to ignore, and another when red was too open to ignore. And I ended up with a green-blue deck and a black-red party deck. But I'm not seeing that happen here. McLord is okay. It's mostly filler. Like, I'm generally not looking to play them, but there's not a whole lot else here. Like, red's probably open, but I don't care. All right, this is not a super interesting pick because I'm going to take the Brightblade. But like we would probably play these 3 cards as well. I've been pretty happy with one Spare the Supplies. Well, most pacifisms don't get activated abilities, and the one in this set does. So I usually end up running one Zendikar. I usually don't end up running a Canopy Baloth, which is weird. This is something that I'm always like, well, we should probably play it, and then I never end up doing it. Let's give him a go. We'll see. It's unlikely we run this. We're pretty far away from the party version of this deck, but this has been okay in the sideboard, but not bust. To be fair, I'm going to get one of these later anyway, and this has actually been okay in the sideboard. The Constrictor wheeled, which we kind of expected. Nectar Pot wheeled, but I'm going to grab the Constrictor. We've already got a bunch of counter shenanigans going. But it's good to see cards we want wheeling. I was going to take this and pass the others because we're not in Jeskai. Even got a last pick Hunger, which we can play. This one's interesting. I think we're going to take the Awakening, because obviously if it gets to late game and you top deck it, it's great. I'd really like to have a Disciple and a Blood Beckoning. I'm trying to work out what we're going to wheel here. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I might get a card back here. Thirst is pretty dang good. Too good to ignore, which is a shame because I really want the Arbor Mage too. But again, I might wheel a playable here. Probably a Zendikar. Well, that's the joke about pacifism, Limestone, and why I say pacifism isn't as good in this set. It's because so many people have said it to me on stream. It's never been the best removal spell ever, but as far as common limited removal, it's fine. I think people just get upset at it too much. Ugh. We can do more interesting things if I have a Florahedron. But I do really want to feed the Swarm as well. I'll feel a little more comfortable running multiple 5-drops. I think I need this first feed too much. Sick of getting run over by aggro decks. Well, this is where we're supposed to see a good card for green, because what we're doing is taking advantage of green always being open. Since there isn't one, we can take this Reclaim the Waste and then lead towards splashing anything that we'd like. Yeah, it's a shame green isn't open. It's tough. It's real tough. Now what's happening here is black is what's not open. But be aware, we can do some shenanigans there. This is going to look a little weird, but I'm going to take the Royal Mage. I might end up with a Fixer, and if I do, I might play this and splash it just to get some of this going. Because I don't think I need any of the other creatures that much. Like, here's a Reclaim the Waste versus a Dauntless Survivor. I think I'd still rather have the Dauntless Survivor. And realistically, we're just not going to play that. Because now my 2-drops are all filled. Blood Beckoning would be real nice. This is kind of going perfectly, though. All right, I want literally all of this. But yeah, as you can see, it's difficult to play green-black lately because it's never open. Yeah, I think the Fortification's a better card there. I'm not going to see another one, but it feels good, Zach. It feels real good. All right, so I don't usually play McLord, but we could if we need filler. Actually, to that argument, I've already got a McLord. We could take this in case we have some party shenanigans going on later. Don't need any of this. Zendikar I've been playing one of. The reach is actually relevant. The haste is kind of fine. And we've got a couple splans we'd like to pick up. I don't like playing the 6-drop to pick up splans. All right, so we could go for another Scythe Cat or a Gnarl Rid Colony here. McLord, of the clan McLord. Yeah, I usually like one Constrictor in the deck just to force things through depending on how counter heavy we are. The things we don't have that I need to pick up are a source of card advantage. So a Blood Beckoning, even a Spare Supplies would go pretty highly here. I think I want the Colony a little more. That's really close for me, though. A Disciple's great. Just patently wonderful. I definitively need a Blood Beckoning now. I will take it over just about anything. I think we've got enough twos. I'm going to have to grab a Cleric here. It's got good counter shenanigans too. I've already got one feed, and we need to fill out the creature suite from here. Because this is currently not happening. Or it's just unnecessary. If I don't get a Blood Beckoning, I don't need it anyway. Arbor Mage, very welcome. That'll let us close out a game. Lord of Mercy. All right, I want a Broken Wings. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy because I'm about to take a Spare Supplies here. Like, I want a lot of this stuff, but I know what this deck needs, and it needs at least one piece of card advantage, and I don't have any of it. Like, just a solid, easy to enable 2-for-1. Little bit of card draw, smooth out your draws, and that's what this is offering me. Because I don't think the Royal Mage is going to make it in currently. Yeah, he's not. So I've already got a Bright Blade. I don't have any reanimation other than the Agadeem's Awakening, which is not bad, but I'm thinking we might want the Gloom Hunter here. It's not wonderful, but it's good enough. Okay, I feel kind of bad because we could have gotten the Spare Supplies here, but it is what it is. I'll take another Zendikar for the size board. I don't really want to. Games have been going pretty good. We spun the cat. That's good news. Last draft was a 3-0, and I don't think it was quite as good as this one. I can certainly play this in this deck, too. And I think we're just going to run this. I'll need to make one cut. Probably don't need a mediocre combat trick. I could just sideboard the Zendikar. The weird part is I just keep bringing it in. Okay. Realistically, there's going to be decks where I want 2 of these Broken Wings. So I'm going to take the second Broken Wings. So most of the spell lands I just count as lands. So I think Agadeem and the Fortification we're going to count as lands. I think this I'm going to count as a creature. Because this is exceptionally late when and if it works. I probably still want one more swamp, though, because I can play this as a forest if I need to. So that'll give us, like, a little bit more than your average land count. I still really like the Zendikar. It's probably the Constrictor, frankly. Because this still gives me 7, 8, 9 green, 8, 9 black. We've got the Zendikar to try to pick something up later if we need it. This looks fine. I don't think it's the most busted Golgari deck we've had, but it's certainly not a bad one. Sure, we can rep Chandra today. We've got 15 creatures if you count the Zendikar. It doesn't have the graveyard returning shenanigans. So we could trade that Vanquish the Weak in for a Blood Beckoning, and it might arguably be better. Because really the only way we can do graveyard shenanigans is very late with the Awakening. But I'm down. I mean, the McLord's not terrible. I think it was a 3-2, it'd be a lot better. Just a 2-3 doesn't trade for much. There's a lot of 3-3s running around. Well, I kind of came up on it, Bob, because I kept putting it in the sideboard and then siding it in a lot of matchups. And I think it's just a fine card. This is super sketchy. We've got one land. I'm not going to have to discard to hand size because we can go tap land into Bright Blade. And we're playing 18 lands. I think this is actually pretty reasonable. Because we know it's bad to mulligan. But if I can hit here, we can play for a while. And if I just flood out, we're basically good to go. How much do you spend opening packs from the gem store? Does it provide some value, or do you play standard? I don't play standard, so it's not really any value for me. I don't buy packs for gems. I just get packs for winning drafts. We mentioned there being a lot of 3/3s. I'm just going to get the Gloom Hunter going, because, like, these don't block it. My whole plan is to be able to Disciple and Soul Shatter away their board. So I may as well just take 2 damage while that happens. Or just get beat in the face. That works too. Well, I also, like, keep way sketchier hands than most people would. It is in my nature to do so. We're going to have to try a double block, which I'm not super fond of, but it is what it is. This is sort of starting to get there. My concern is if they start making beetles, this is going to get worse. But a land and I can recover here. I mean, 2 lands, probably not. I had a lot more than that going, though, didn't I? All right. Didn't quite get there. I don't think we need Broken Wings against this opponent. They look like they're kind of trying to do what I'm trying to do. And I'm not going to have a lot of targets for that. They're a little more party-focused. So we can trim out the wings and bring in something hopefully more impactful. Maybe the Hunger? I could get some value out of a Hunger. Let's do this and get a reasonable opener. But if you play standard, I forget who asked that question, but if you play standard and you just want packs to open, you're still better off drafting. I don't think there's any reason to buy packs from the store. You could draft, pick the cards you want, and then win packs if you play well. I mean, this is reasonable, but there's some questions, you see. That's real good. And I just got this stupid Gnarlrid colony. This is not ideal. That's pretty great, Vangarth. All right, I need the best blockers we can get here, which means I'm going to have to fire this off before the Horn Beetle. We're way too far behind because of that Chlorhedron. Yeah, those are very reasonable reasons to be in that position. I think we're going to lose here, but I think in a way it's still a victory for Golgari, if you think about it. Well, they just had a Florahedron and we didn't have any interaction. I debated for a while about trying to pick a Florahedron for ourselves because we'd really have liked one. That can happen sometimes. I'm just terrified of this Dreadworm now. Whee! Huh. Get wrecked, Travis. But like I said, it's still a victory for Golgari. I have those cards. And they only got us to -4, so we're basically fine. We're basically fine. Play. That's okay. We're going to scrape a 2-1 out of this. I have full confidence. I bought packs in the very beginning because there was nothing else to do. When the closed beta first started, you couldn't even buy packs if I remember correctly. It just gave you some packs. We still could have gotten out of that if we'd had some removal. We just didn't. If I'd known I was going to draw all land, I think we go with the Beetle first and take a hit, but it's still not going to matter with the Arbor Mage. Yeah, it was something like 3 packs a week. It was actually really fun because it felt like you were playing like weird Turbo Ixalan sealed. It was a weird time, can confirm. But Uber Ixalan was fun. I liked it. This sucks. I don't want to actually feed that, but if I don't, I'm going to take 2, 4, 6 more damage. Because we're not drawing our 2s. I think people are catching on to black-green. You guys got to stop spoiling everything. Survivor, right on time. No, I don't think the secret's necessarily out. There have been people that have been interested in it for a while, and there's also additional people who are interested in, like, they'll get the skeleton and then decide to build black-green because they got one. So there's people who know what they're doing, and then there's people who kind of luck into what they're doing. Bedworm, I'm not real pleased with you. We're just going to get this over with now. There's not enough colors. Like, you're always going to end up paired into the same matchup a couple times. Like, it is what it is. I'm not a matchmaker conspiracist, personally. Right Blade's pretty good for them here. The downside is I know I can't do much with the wings, but yeah, this isn't even good for me. This is awkward. Play an enchantment or something, please. There's not a matchmaker in best of three. As far as I know, the only matchmaking they do based on deck is in the play queue. And that makes a little bit of sense. Little Jimmy builds his fun deck and doesn't want to get faced against tier 1 decks over and over. All right, we can do something with the Soul Shatter. That's good at least. They try to do 2-0s versus 2-0s. They try to match you on record in best of 3, but that's the only matchmaking that I'm aware that exists in best of 3, which is why I play it. Yeah, because they also don't want you sitting for 20 minutes trying to find a game, which I also appreciate. To the air. Does that leave me okay blocks for next turn? Yeah, more or less. I don't mind trading this off. Yeah, I'm with you there too, Limestone. I don't want to wait 10 minutes to play the game. The ground doesn't matter right now, so you go ahead. I just don't want there to be consistent matchmaking. It makes the game less fun. It punishes you for being good. I don't want to be punished for being good at the game. Yeah, Zendikar's just an okay card. Again, it looks like Broken Wings kind of isn't, and that's okay. We can play a mediocre combat trick. Oh, I should have done the Stream Raiders battle. It's all right. We'll do it now. Butt Spot is kind of amazing. It's really Butt Spot stream. I'm just also here. That was kind of an easy fight. We've got Falco with the kills, Snus with the assists. Rewards for Kuashi, Techno Shaman, and McDonald. Let's kill the people at the Boneyard. Tanks are good? All right, I'll tank these ghosts. And you get challenges with that in that if the drafting is free, you would need something to implement to keep people from just having a bad draft and dropping and cycling through until they get a good deck. Maybe a 24-hour lockout, if you do that, would be enough. Maybe it'd need to be a 48-hour lockout. Like if you want to drop, you can drop, but it's going to cost you. And I wouldn't mind the matchmaking then either. But it's a pay-to-play ladder that bugs me a little bit. That's why I don't play best. Well, also there's a hand smoother in best of one. There's a whole lot of reasons, but no, I'm talking about if you drop, you cannot draft for 48 hours. If it's you can drop one deck every 48 hours, I am very much against it. Because there's going to be some people that don't like play one draft a night, and I don't want them to be able to just drop happily. Yeah, the hand smoother still boggles my mind. I don't know why that ever got in here. I think that was just a started as a good idea, but obviously wasn't a good idea. You're gonna take some damage. Kind of needed a land there. And I didn't get one. I think I'm ready to cycle this Oblivion's Hunger because I really need a land. Like, gain 3 life, draw a card. Kind of good enough. That's actually a pretty elegant solution there, Limestone. Pretty big. That bat's going to be a problem. And we took out our broken wings. So I may have to fire off the Arbor Mage and trade the Scythe Cat with it, because I'm not going to beat it if the game goes long. Yeah, sadly, that's where we're at. Wonder what the white's for. Ah, because it's for squad commander. Trying to decide if I want to put the fortifications on it or not. It's only an extra point of damage, and I'm not sure that having a 5/5 is big enough. It might be better on the bat later. Because they about to get a lot of dudes off of this. Yeah, we saw that earlier, Goblins. That's really good news. That means I might be able to get some fun out of Kaladesh Remastered. It was a 3-mana 4/3 trample or something. Was it a 5/4 when it attacked? I just remember the card was absurd. Yeah, it was a 5/4 common. I'm trying to clean up stuff on the ground. Not because I'm like terrified of it, but they could have a lure mage of their own and we could be in a little bit of trouble. So I want to try to keep their power lower than what would just kill me. It was extremely unreasonable. It was the first pick out of every pack that it was in. Okay, sorry, YouTube, but I need 2 seconds. I'll be right back with you. Sorry for that, but you can't expect a man to draft with no ginger ale. Kaladesh was a great set. It's a lot of fun. Of course it's Canada Dry. What else would it be? Canada Moist? Fair enough. Okay. There are other options, is what you're saying. I think I'd rather have the 2/2 with the counter, given the way the deck functions, but we'll see. This is awkward. This is exceptionally awkward. Because they're going to have bigger things. Like that. And we're realistically going to need to be able to beat it. But we can't. Ugh. Mana. Where you at? Super sucks to play this out with a cat in hand, but we're in a really tough spot here. Ugh. Yep, that would be the tough spot that we're in. It's hard to race a 6/5 trampler. Because we've just made the entire game about that. Well, I'm assuming they have a removal spell in their deck. That doesn't leave me enough to kill it. It leaves me enough to soak it, but what am I supposed to top deck? Because double blocking it and having no board just seems miserable. What if we soak 3 and go to 1 and then untap and draw another creature? It's basically the same thing. I guess we should have held the fast wood. Good lord! Okay, never mind. So Broken Wings again out. We played a lot of green decks in this matchup. Like, I'm usually pretty happy with this main, but it's not great in exactly this scenario. I'm gonna need some bigger stuff against them. This is where I'd like to bring in a Dreadworm or a Turnt Timber Aesthetic, and I don't have one. So I think the biggest thing I can get is actually the Baloth. Unless I want another Zendikar, and I kind of don't. Why are you hitting yourself? Pretty much. Pretty much. I'm a champion land drawer, which is why we can keep this hand. I can't keep this hand. I can keep this one. We've got Zendikar, so there's no real reason not to keep this as our land. But like another land off the top, and we've at least got some threatening kittens. Oh, that refreshing Canada Dry. I'm still going to try to race a red deck, which may not be very smart, but that's what this hand has given us, and it's a mulligan. Because they'll probably attack here, not have something to block with. We can hit for 8. Okay, they'll have something to block with. Or will they? Yeah, they will. Yeah, Jacques gave away a lot of skins today to help us hit our goals for the month of November. We're getting pretty close to the 300 goal. Somebody who's better than me at math can tell us exactly how close we are. Congratulations, Limestone. Eating food is the best. 13? Is it that close? Because it would need to be 275 plus 25. Oh, you want to block now, huh? I think I want to wait and play this next turn. They were too proud. Can't blame them. Do I really have to break out a calculator for this math? Like, if the numbers go over 20, I'm pretty bad at it, right? So 239 plus 25 equals 264. 300 minus 264 equals 36. We are 36 away. There we go. So I have not been single for a long time. I am a very happily married man, but I would imagine with online dating, you could still have a coffee and chat with somebody over a webcam. That would be a great way to get to know somebody and then maybe meet after Corona is handled. I'm American, Thangarth. Like, are you familiar with the American education system? I had to learn to count on my own. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we'd want here, and I don't think there is. I don't need the Zendikar in this matchup. I'd probably rather just have a 3/3 that can block. And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot. An oldie but a goodie. Thank you for that, Rocky. What was that from? Was that Happy Gilmore or something? I can't remember. That's pretty much what we've got. An advanced daycare system so adults can go to work and make no money. That's from the big guy talking to Shooter. Okay. I haven't seen that movie in way too long. But it's an enjoyable film. Yeah, we got to be grown up here. I mean, I met Sim Wife through the stream, so in a way that was online dating too, right? Well, that's not very nice. Let's just not deal with any of this. It's a Gruul Warriors deck. I've played that before. You even have a cat. Yeah, you've got to be good to go. All right, deck. I need a little bit of help. They have no fear of a subtle strike, which makes me sad. That would count as help. Popping a toddler behind a Zoom session so one can go to work is a bad idea. Hard to believe, huh? That sounds like a good solution. I'm playing very close to the edge here because we know they have at least one more of these, and I'm very terrified of it. Okay, so I can do this for 4, getting back a 2 and a 3 and a 4. That seems pretty good. Well, yeah, this is going to be good. That's about what I thought too. It's too much value. What you gonna do? I told you we'd get a 2-1 out of this. 2-1's about consistently the worst I get with these. Well, I'm happy to be your daycare monitor, Skullinate. Thank you for being here. Alrighty, YouTube folks, thank you for tuning in for the draft for today. We will be back with more. Reminder, we're doing a bit of a sub drive with some goals and some things to look forward to. There'll be more streaming going on. So if you'd like to check this out live, you can tune in at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. There are lots of drafts to see. Some of them may even not be green-black, but I wouldn't count on it. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.